So the question I get all the time, what are my favorite national parks? Technically, that's an impossible question to answer. There is no way when you consider the 62 marquee national parks that you can technically rank these in order. Maybe you can take away 10 to 15, but the rest of them are so beautiful and really they're so unique, they're incomparable. So I'll present a list to you, but let me throw these two caveats in there before I start. Number one, as far as parks in the lower 48 states go, I have never been to Isle Royale, and I've never been to any national parks outside the lower 48 states. So how do I rank the parks then? I'm going to base it upon this specific standard, my experience at the park. So in other words, when I went to the park, how much did I enjoy that specific park? So this list in a sense is fluid. As I continue to go to more parks and have better experiences at parks, things could change. But right now, these are my top 15. Let's go.
Number 15.
Today we are at Capitol Reef National Park.
Can somebody please give this park some love? Included in Utah's Mighty Five, Capitol Reef is clearly the least appreciated of its four companions. But don't let the lack of popularity or the unique name keep you away. Capitol Reef was named for its whitish Navajo sandstone cliffs that resemble the dome on the Capitol building, and reef refers to a rocky barrier to land travel. The park has many unique hiking trails that lead to incredible overlooks and arches. Just driving through the park, you can observe overviews of amazing geological formations. Specifically, a cruise down Scenic Drive is worth a trip to this park in and of itself. And no trip to Capitol Reef would be complete without a stop to the historical town of Fruita. Visit the old Gifford store for some homemade food and harvest fruit for yourself when it's in season. Number 14.
We have arrived at Rocky Mountain National Park.
Located about 90 miles northwest of Denver, Rocky Mountain National Park features incredible mountain vistas, pristine alpine lakes, and diverse wildlife. Its vast 265,000 acres are divided into 5 diverse regions. The Continental Divide also runs through this park to create 2 distinct climate patterns. With over 355 miles of hiking trails, there's something for the beginner to the experienced hiker. And the granddaddy of them all is reaching the summit of Long's Peak, the highest elevation in the park. Even if you choose not to leave the car, the roads at Rocky Mountain National Park take passengers through the lowland meadows and the aspen groves, past rivers and up through subalpine forest to more than 12,000 feet in elevation, where you can up there cross the delicate alpine tundra. Just located outside the park gates is the charming town of Estes Park, which makes for fun shopping, great food, and a valuable supply depot. Number 13.
We welcome you at 5:30 in the morning to Big Bend National Park.
Big Bend is located on 118 miles of the scenic Rio Grande River, just across from Mexico and southern Texas. The 800,000 plus acres offers activities that can keep you engaged for several days. The terrain is harsh and rugged, but cooler in the higher elevations. Though it's one of the least visited national parks, many still come to Big Bend for its fantastic hiking trails and unique splendor. When we were there, we were able to explore 2 unique treats. One was J.O. Langford's impressive bathhouse. The bathhouse now is long gone, but the spring is contained in the foundation. Located on the north bank of the Rio Grande, one can still enjoy the hot springs while viewing astonishing scenery. The other is the park's port of entry that permits visitors to cross the river and enter the Mexican town of Bohías for a bite to eat. For us, that was truly an unforgettable experience. Number 12.
Welcome to Redwood National Park.
My daughter and I visited Redwood National Park in the summer of 2017. Have your breath taken away as you observe the towering California redwood trees stretching along 37 miles of the rocky coast of the Pacific Ocean. The park and the surrounding area preserve roughly 50% of the remaining coastal redwoods that are in existence. While there, we did several hikes, specifically Lady Bird Johnson Grove and our favorite, the Fern Canyon Loop Trail. Also worth your time would be a drive through nearby Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park and some rafting at Smith River National Recreation Area. Number 11.
I'm here with my lovely daughter, Natalie, and we were at Sequoia National Park.
If you enjoy big trees, the other must-stop is Sequoia National Park. Established in 1890, our nation's second oldest national park protects over 400,000 acres of forested, mountainous terrain in eastern California. Hugging the western slope of the Sierra Nevada mountain range, between 5,000 and 7,000 feet above sea level, the sequoia tree grows 30 feet wide and more than 250 feet tall. The giant forest at Sequoia National Park contains 5 of the 10 tallest sequoia trees in the world, most notably the General Sherman tree, which is identified as the largest tree in the world. Sequoia also offers great hikes and a beautiful campground. Number 10.
We're here at Death Valley National Park.
Though overlooked as being a barren wasteland in the forgotten scorching southeast corner of California, Death Valley promises tremendous beauty and history. Visitors to Death Valley are treated to a diverse environment of trails, salt flats, sand dunes, badlands, valleys, canyons, and mountains. Visit Devil's Golf Course, Zabriskie Point, and Mesquite Sand Dunes. Take in a sunset at Dante's View, and by all means, visit Badwater Basin. At 282 feet below sea level, it's the lowest point in all of North America. The park also celebrates its commercial borax operation that flourished in the late 1800s when it was mined and shipped out of the valley, pulled by the famous 20 mule teams. Number 9.
We are at one of the most underrated national parks. Welcome to the Badlands.
Located in the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota, Badlands was the first national park I visited west of the Mississippi. Though I was originally misled by the name, I instantly fell in love with the sharply eroded buttes and pinnacles and plethora of bison and prairie dogs. The loop roads wind past many stunning formations, painted in shades of brown, orange, and yellow. But to really appreciate the park, you need to leave the car. You need to hike the trails that vary in distances. 2 of our favorites are the Notch Trail and the Castle Trail. Visitors to Badlands can also combine trips to nearby Minuteman Missile and the king of all tourist traps, the town of Wall Drug, South Dakota. Because of its unique experience, Badlands National Park needed to crack my top 10 favorites. Number 8.
We're in Montana. We want to welcome you to beautiful Glacier National Park.
It's impossible for any fan of the national parks to keep Glacier out of the top 10. Typically for most, it would rank a lot higher, but every time we have been there, we have experienced rather unfortunate conditions. First, in 2014, we arrived in August to be greeted with rainy weather, fog, and temperatures in the 30s. And then in 2018, we had to deal with burned out trails, full parking lots, and a significant haze from the West Coast forest fires. However, despite our experiences and the challenge it is to reach this park way up north in upper Montana, Glacier is one of our nation's most spectacular national parks. The one east-west road that goes to the park is aptly named Going to the Sun Road, and it spans the entire park from St. Mary Lake to Lake McDonald. There are 131 named lakes and currently only 25 active glaciers remaining in the park. Glacier National Park offers over 700 miles of scenic hiking trails. Number 7.
We are in Utah, and we want to welcome you to Arches National Park.
Yes, another and not the last of Utah's Mighty 5 that appear in my 15 favorite national parks. I have now visited Arches National Park 4 times, and it never ceases to make for a great stay. It's famous for being the world's largest concentration of natural sandstone arches, over 2,000 to be exact. But the park also displays hundreds of soaring pinnacles, massive fins, and giant balanced rocks. A few days at the park are enough to hike most of the famous trails: Balance Rock, the Windows, Sand Dune Arch, Landscape Arch, which is the longest one in the park, Double O Arch, and my all-time favorite, Delicate Arch, the iconic formation found on the Utah license plate. Arches is just 5 miles away from the wonderful town of Moab, complete with great shopping and restaurants. Also, incredible Canyonlands National Park, which probably should be in my top 10, is literally across the street. Number 6.
I'm with my wonderful daughter, Haley, here up in Maine at Acadia National Park.
Apart from one park I will mention very soon, Acadia is clearly my favorite national park east of the Mississippi. Having gone there for our honeymoon and our 20th anniversary, it naturally holds a very sentimental value for me. And though some would differ, I suggest that several of our national parks can be seen within the span of one day. But you could spend a week at Acadia and still find exceptional, unique, and diverse activities to enjoy. Acadia is located about 2/3 up the state of Maine on its picturesque, rocky coastline. Lighthouses, lobster fishermen, the cold Atlantic Ocean, woodlands, and granite peaks make this park stand out from all the others. Check out Sand Beach. Drive the park loop. Challenge yourself to hiking a mountain using the famous iron rungs. Eat popovers at the Jordan Pond House. Ride through the carriage trails. Catch the sunrise atop Cadillac Mountain and enjoy a nice meal in the town of Bar Harbor. Acadia National Park is guaranteed not to disappoint. Number 5.
Welcome to Yosemite National Park.
It's nearly impossible for any fan of the national parks to leave Yosemite in California off the top 5. Yosemite is roughly 750,000 acres with towering granite monoliths, waterfalls, clear streams, giant sequoia groves, lakes, mountains, meadows, glaciers, and a vast biological diversity. And the centerpiece in Yosemite Valley is a famous rock formation called Half Dome, towering 5,000 feet above the ground level. In the summer of 2017, I was privileged to hike to the top of Half Dome with my daughter. It was probably the most memorable hike I've ever completed, especially when the final 400 feet is ascended only by cables. Though, of course, beauty is often in the eye of the beholder, I'm sure many would concur that Yosemite is the most beautiful national park. Number 4.
Welcome to Zion National Park.
As you can see, I'm a bit partial to the national parks in southern Utah, but of all 5, Zion is simply my favorite. Massive sandstone cliffs of cream, red, and pink soar into a brilliant blue sky with the pristine Virgin River down below. After 4 visits to Zion, I've intended to try new activities, but I'm always drawn back to my 2 favorites, hiking both the Narrows and Angel's Landing. Other great hikes and viewpoints are the Great White Throne, Weeping Rock, Emerald Pools, and the Court of the Patriarchs. One day I hope to return and complete the subway. Yet despite the crowds, Zion National Park is stunning, with jaw-dropping activities to keep you busy for days. Number 3.
Welcome to the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon is simply immense. It's up to 18 miles wide and a mile deep. It's impossible to look at the canyon and not wonder, mesmerized by the beauty of the massive expanse. If you, as 99% of the park visitors, only experience the canyon from the rim trail, I believe one day is enough to enjoy this park. But if you venture into the inner canyon, even only for a short distance, you'll experience the magic that this place has to offer. And going into the canyon is the only reason this park ranks so high for me. Of all the national parks, no park draws me in. No park calls me back like the Grand Canyon. I've been at the bottom of the canyon, hiking both the north and south rim now a total of 6 times. And a classic stop on the bottom of the canyon is the famed Phantom Ranch, a welcomed reprieve for some cool air and a glass of lemonade. Though it's hard to beat the Grand Canyon, I still have 2 more parks to mention. Number 2.
Welcome to Yellowstone.
I struggled placing Yellowstone above the Grand Canyon as a personal favorite, but Yellowstone is just simply too good not to make the top 2. Yellowstone is the first national park in the United States. The 3,500 square mile wilderness in northwest Wyoming has possibly more to do than any other national park. You can visit dramatic canyons, alpine rivers, lush forests, hot springs, and half of the world's geysers, one of which is the famous Old Faithful. Yellowstone is also home to a tremendous display of wildlife that make themselves known even to the most casual visitor. You could spend a week at Yellowstone and not run out of great activities. Yellowstone National Park is special and unlike any other place on the planet. So before I reveal my favorite national park, let me give an honorable mention to the following: Grand Teton, Kings Canyon, Bryce Canyon, Canyonlands, and I know for many people I'm probably crazy to omit those 4 parks from my top 15. Lassen Volcano, Olympic, Theodore Roosevelt, Joshua Tree, North Cascades, and Channel Islands are also incredible national parks. But now for my number 1 national park.
Tortuga National Park. Woohoo!
Though it's one of our smallest national parks, it is definitely my favorite and perhaps the most unique of our 62 national parks. Dry Tortugas National Park includes 7 small tropical islands and is located almost 70 miles west of Key West, Florida in the Gulf of Mexico. Garden Key is the primary island for visitors. When there, you are treated to spectacular snorkeling and tours of the historic 19th century Fort Jefferson. Dry Tortugas is clearly the most difficult park to reach, accessible only by seaplane or boat. Thankfully, Yankee Freedom charters folks out on a daily basis to the island. And if you want a special treat, reserve one night of the few campsites and spend the night having paradise basically to yourself. And to top that, bring a kayak and paddle the 3-mile trip to the deserted island of Loggerhead Key for the experience of a lifetime. And by all means, get out yourself to visit these amazing places. God bless you and safe travels.